Welcome to the AI Brief from the YPO Technology Network. I'm Stephen Forte. On today's episode, Washington draws a line around who is allowed to use a specific AI model, a global consultancy puts hard numbers on the AI labor split, and a wave of startups races to govern the AI agents you have not finished deploying yet. If you caught Monday's episode on the model that hid a guardrail, today is the next turn of the same screw. Monday, the story was Anthropic, the AI lab behind the Claude family of models, getting caught quietly running a safety intervention it had not disclosed. Today, the United States government decided that same model family is too dangerous to let foreign nationals touch it all. Let me lay out what happened. The Department of Commerce issued an export control directive forcing Anthropic to suspend access to its two frontier models, Fable 5, the one we have covered for 2 weeks, and Mythos 5, the larger and more capable sibling, for foreign nationals worldwide. That includes people residing outside the U.S. It also explicitly includes foreign nationals working inside the United States on H-1B visas, the skilled worker visa that staffs a meaningful share of every American engineering team. Here is why this is not just another regulatory headline. Export controls on AI have always pointed at hardware. The tool was always the chip. NVIDIA's H200 graphics processors, the silicon that trains these models, restricted from shipping to certain countries. This is the first time the United States has applied an export control to the AI model itself, not the machine that builds it, the thing it produces. The stated reason is national security. Commerce cited the model's autonomous ability to find and exploit software vulnerabilities, including zero-day exploits, which in security shorthand means a flaw nobody has discovered or patched yet, the most valuable kind there is. The concern is that the model can do this without a human, prompting it step by step. The government concluded that capability in foreign hands was a risk it would not carry. Now, sit with the irony for one beat. Monday, Anthropic was in trouble for hiding a safety measure. Today, the government is treating the very capabilities of that same model as too dangerous to export. The safety versus access fight is now being waged on two fronts at once, and Anthropic is losing ground on both. The financial damage is real. Reporting puts the cumulative revenue hit somewhere between $700 million and $1 billion. And the pending Series H, the late-stage private financing round we discussed Monday as part of this IPO season arms race, had targeted a roughly $300 billion valuation at Friday's pricing before the directive. By the time the lead underwriters remarked it this week, the midpoint had dropped to about $260 billion. $40 billion of valuation erased not by a missed earnings number, but by a policy memo. Here is my read. The thing most CEOs have assumed about their AI supply is now false. You assumed that if you paid for the best model and signed the contract, you had it. Performance plus contract equals continuity. That equation just broke. Access to a frontier model can be revoked overnight by a government that was not party to your contract and does not care about your roadmap. And if you employ foreign nationals, which on an H-1B heavy engineering team, most of you do, you now have a compliance problem you did not have on Friday. Who on your team can legally touch which model, and can you prove it in an audit? If I were sitting in your seat this quarter, I would do two things, and neither is a science project. First, get the list. Which models your teams actually use, who can access them, and which of those people are foreign nationals. Not a committee, a spreadsheet this week. Second, ask whether you have a second source. If your entire AI roadmap runs through one frontier provider, you have built your supply chain the way a manufacturer would build one. If it's sourced a critical component from a single factory in a country it does not control. AI procurement just stopped being a technology decision. It is a geopolitical and legal one now. That is the through line, and it carries into the rest of today's show. Let me move to the labor side of it. For 2 years, the line on AI and jobs has been a forecast. Productivity will rise. Some roles will compress. Nobody knows the shape of it. This week, PwC, the global accounting and consulting firm, released its 2026 Global AI Jobs Barometer, its annual study of how AI is moving through the labor market. The forecast became a number. The most AI exposed firms, the top quintile, are now showing roughly 163% labor productivity growth. And workers with AI skills are commanding a wage premium in the mid 30s%, about 34%, with PwC's regional cuts running from 32% on up. So the same workers are a third more expensive, and the firms that deploy them well are pulling away. On the other side of the ledger, the layoffs. Public disclosures show tech sector cuts running near 158,000 jobs in 2026. By one tally, and I want to be careful here because this figure comes from layoff tracker aggregators rather than a tier one outlet. Trackers estimate more than 74,000 of those were explicitly tied to AI-driven restructuring. Treat that number as directional, not gospel. The PwC productivity and wage figures are the solid ones. Here is the picture those numbers paint. AI is compressing headcount in exposed functions and bidding up the price of the people who can actually wield it at the same time. It is the new hire who arrives knowing the one skill that just got scarce, and your competitor is already calling them. The gap between the leaders and the laggards is widening fast enough to be a moat. And moats, once they fill, do not drain. If I were sitting in your seat, I would fund the upskilling now, this fiscal year, not next. The wage premium is the market telling you what AI fluency is worth in cash today. You will pay for that fluency one way or another, either by buying it on the open market at a 34% premium or by building it in the people you already have. The second one is cheaper and you control the timeline, which brings me to the third story, because it is the same theme wearing a security badge. There is a category of startup forming right now around something called non-human identity. The idea that every AI agent your company switches on needs its own credentials, the same way every employee needs a login. Agent governance is the hottest fundable theme in enterprise security since Zero Trust, and the accelerant is agentic AI. Companies are turning on autonomous agents by the thousand, and each one needs to be named, permissioned, and critically revoked when it goes wrong. Monday gave us one data point. This week gave us a flood. Nucor came out of Stealth Monday with a $66 million seed round led by CyberStarts at a $300 million post-money valuation. The founders are not first-timers. Zohar Alan built Dome 9, which Checkpoint acquired. Erez Yarkoni was CIO of both T-Mobile and Telstra. They are building one identity system for humans and AI agents together, treating an agent as a first-class identity with its own permissions, lifecycle, and revocation. There's a clever piece they call a split key design. The credentials are divided between customer and platform, so the identity system itself is not a single point of failure. 50 employees, and they are pointing the gun directly at Microsoft and Okta. Okta being the company that, for most enterprises, already runs employee logins. Then there is Trust 3 with a product called Agent DOS. Trust 3 says it gives security teams real-time visibility into every agent action and every token consumed. A token being the billable unit of AI computation, the meter that runs whether you are watching or not, across platforms like Databricks and Microsoft Copilot Studio. It is a control plane, the central switchboard that sits above all your agents and enforces the rules, with spend caps to stop budget overruns before they happen. The founders built Apache Ranger and Apache Atlas, the access control and metadata standards already running quietly inside thousands of regulated enterprises. Give them credit. That is a real pedigree, not a pitch deck. And the proof this is a category, not a moment. Oasis Security raised $120 million this year. CrowdStrike paid $627.9 million for a company called SGNL to do agent access orchestration. The incumbents are buying and building to own this floor. Here is what that tells you. A whole sub-industry is being capitalized on a single assumption that you will deploy agents faster than you can govern them. They are betting on your impatience. The question for you is not whether to adopt agents. It is who is the system of record for what your agents are allowed to do and who can pull the plug. That is a budget line and a box on the org chart, not a research project. Notice how it pairs with the labor story. AI is reshaping your workforce and being handed autonomy faster than most companies have built the pay structures, the controls, or the accountability for either one. So let me name the thread running through today. A government revoked model access overnight. A consultancy proved the talent gap is now a moat. A dozen startups are funded on the bet you cannot govern your own agents. The common word is control. Who has it over your AI, and whether you can prove it. AI access is no longer a feature. It is geopolitical infrastructure. Second sourcing your AI supply and governing what touches your data just became a board-level question. If you cannot answer who can use your models, who can afford your talent, and who can revoke your agents, someone else will answer it for you. That is the YPO Technology Network AI Brief for Tuesday, June 16th. I am Stephen Forte. If this was useful, send it to another member. I will be back tomorrow with more. Until then, stay sharp.